The other thing that again, going back to your book, is that your daughter, your daughter has become very aware of the menopause, or the menopause as she used to call them.
Yes.
Call it. So she's become very aware of it. Do you have, because she must be coming into puberty?
Yes.
Now, and are you having those conversations about hormones and what she will expect, or has that kind of gone by the wayside now that you're more?
Well, I mean, yes, I am more balanced, fortunately, for everybody, the world in general, specifically my family, particularly my child. Yeah, because you do kind of calm down, and the more informed you are, that gives you that confidence to think, okay, yeah, I'm not losing it completely. There's method to the madness. But that was the reason. I mean, I'd always meditated, but the reason I retrained as a meditation teacher was actually to because as I said, stress makes things far, far worse for women, and you know, it eats away at your heart, and it's nothing to do with your weight. So the other, actually, the big thing that I learned was that actually, you know, I was blaming my hormones. You can't blame your hormones. They're physical messengers. You know, what you can do though is do something about your stress. And so I feel, actually, because this is quite common, perimenopausal women often have kids going through puberty. I mean, there's quite a lot of hilarious cartoons about, you know, lots of grunting for about 10 years in the kitchen, you know, in the mornings when and actually for women, again, if we have responsibility for kids, to have to go through those changes yourself and help your young, or you know, friends who, you know, because even if you've got kids, you're always an auntie or a friend to somebody who's got kids, and you're supporting your friends through these sorts of things as well, which I also found that actually you need to be in really good shape to do it, because otherwise you're operating on the stupid part of your brain, as are teenagers often, and so you can get into, you know, fights and arguments about unnecessary things, instead of being able to be, you know, the guide, you know, the wise person, the one who can rise above. So I do talk to her about it, but I feel better talking about hormonal issues and, you know, what's happening to her and me by also being able to explain, you know, how you change later on in life. You know, it seems a bit boring, frankly, when you're 12, but still, hopefully some of it will sink in. Yeah.
Yes. No, and I'm sure it will. I'm sure she will remember that when she gets there. We probably won't be alive to see that, but she will remember that, and hopefully society will have evolved to a point that women then start being honoured for the process that they're going through and the transition that they're going through, and see it as a transition into the wiser part of their lives, you know. So I'm sure that the conversations that you've had with her, and you will continue to have with her, will stay. They might be boring, but they will probably stick.
Yes, but it'll be different, because as you've said, neither of our mothers said anything, which was a great tragedy, and there hasn't been one woman in all of the workshops I've run, because that's one of my questions, is what did you ever learn from your mother or aunt or grandmother about the menopause, or are you still waiting? And not one of them have said they learned anything, which is a tragedy, isn't it? So yes, we've got to break that cycle with our own children, our nieces, our nephews, our friends' kids, or, you know, everything. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Okay. So, is there anything in your journey that you would have done differently now, looking back, or do you feel that you did the best that you could?
I mean, I suppose what I do differently, actually, which is interesting, this is something I do with my daughter. In fact, I do something at school level, which is, I mean, I've mentioned stress a couple of times, but
yes.
I mean, for me, I actually had you don't call it a nervous breakdown anymore, but I worked, you know, overseas for many years. I'm still living and working overseas, but I had quite a stressful, high-powered job, like many women do. And I was also a product of the 1980s, you know, as you were, where we were under a certain amount of pressure to be better than men and to just keep on going and to just never give up and ease off and be in touch with your feminine side. Now, I certainly wasn't. I mean, I was a man, you know, I behaved like a man, not always a very nice man, I have to say. Until I had a baby, so that proves I wasn't. But I think what I would have done differently is actually not be in such a state that I had such a terrible menopause in the first place. So although, you know, that's what I'd say. So I now look at schools and I see schools are stressful places. You're setting that next generation up to be stressed, to be busy, to not take time out to reflect, to understand that periods of quiet, meditation, reflection, prayer, call it what you will, are good for you and cause you to be creative and productive. Overscheduling, busy, running from one thing to another. I mean, it starts at secondary school. So I suppose that's the thing, is, and also at work, you know, there's that cult of busy, superwoman, women can do it all. I don't think we can. I don't think we need to. I don't think we have to. And I don't want my girl children to be doing what I did. Actually, I really don't, because I really suffered when I was in my late 40s as a result of pushing myself so hard to feel. I mean, you know, it's also me, I'm sort of that type of personality, but to feel, and societal, but to feel that you've just got to push on and push on and push on and not take a rest, and, you know, because it's soft or you're weak or lazy or something, and it's not on. It's crazy. You kill yourself, and I don't die yet, thank you. So there
we don't want you to die.
We've got stuff to do, you know, we've got work to do now.
Exactly. And that kind of brings us nicely to you're from frazzled to fabulous.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, well, what I've done is, I think I mentioned, I started off actually just doing talks for friends, and then it sort of became more organized as workshops, both in Tanzania and now in the UK. And then a lot of women who were working wanted an online course, because obviously not everybody can attend live workshops. So I've got an online course, and really what it is going from frazzled to fabulous is that I've got certain, you know, modules that you work through, and on the online course I do it with people online and help them with reviews, so weekly reviews, weekly check-in, goal setting and accountability, because, you know, I think women, we're herd animals, you know, as a species. We work better together with support, with accountability. You know, it's just the way Homo sapiens are, which is why I think women do well at work and then collapse at home, because we don't have that same impetus and accountability when it comes to some of our personal goals, which we don't take seriously. So that's what I do in my Frazzled to Fabulous course, is, you know, look at individual, you know, everybody's individual. So starting off with what are the stresses in your life, what's the purpose of your life, which sounds a bit wacky, but actually, again, science shows that women who have a purpose in their life and a clarity of their purpose in their life, not just running around like headless chickens, live far longer than women who don't. So I'm all for that. And so, again, clarity of purpose. If you know what you're saying yes to, you know what you're saying no to, which is really important, because women are completely rubbish at saying no to things. So that gives you that framework. Then the next bit I do is look at your day, because your unit of operation is your day. There's no point in having all these grandiose plans about gym and food and stuff if you don't look at your own day. You know, see where are your pressure points, where are your trigger points, you know, what are you doing with your eating? There's no point looking at food unless you've actually worked out what are you personally doing, because everybody's different. And then I go into once that's done, then I move on to the information part about sleep, which is the next bit I do before food and exercise, because as I said, sleep is affected by hormones and causes food cravings when you get insomnia, like you do at you know, perimenopause age. So again, you need to know that, because then you can manage your diet. But if you don't understand why sleep causes you to crave certain foods, then you don't know what you can do to mitigate against it. So, you know, then we look at diet, then exercise, and then personal development and growth, because obviously women, we don't invest in our own development enough, and this is something that we have to. How are you going to grow? How are you going to contribute? What training you yourself are investing in yourself? And it's not just about getting your hair cut and doing your nails. That's nice, but it's at a deeper level than just that. You know, we encourage other people and our family members to invest in themselves and to do training courses and go on workshops. Well, we need to do that ourselves. And then I come back to the and then everybody in the next module reviews their purpose on the planet, and then reviews their day, and then sets goals. So it took me 3 years to research and then sequence the information, because there's overwhelming amounts of information, overwhelming amounts. But I've taken a very systematic, scientific approach to how women can lose weight, can go from being stressed to fabulous, frazzled to fabulous, when you just follow a certain sequence and pattern, and it improves your biochemistry, actually. So I keep up to date with all the latest science, because there's a lot of good information out, but it's scattergun. You know, if you just follow this diet or that diet, as I said, you're not necessarily going to make those changes. And
that's right.
And so there's no point saying I want to lose weight. You need to understand where you've got the weight, because if you're stressed, your weight stays. So it doesn't matter what you do. If you don't know that, then your diet will be ineffective anyway. So I think that's the best thing. That's what people have fed back, is they like the sequencing, so they know which bit comes first, because often there's a lot of good information out, but you know, people don't know which bit to do first. So that's really how I guide, you know, women that I work with to make the changes in their lives.
Okay. And so if anybody was watching this and they wanted to contact you, how would they contact you? Where would they contact you?
They can contact me on my website, which is www.deborahjcrowe.com. And I've got a new book, which is 7 Ways Women Are Sabotaging Themselves Without Realizing.
Oh, right.
With solutions to that. So they can I've got that free book I mean, it's serious. It's also a bit funny because it's a bit shock horror. And that's got my email address as well. So yeah, no, I'd love to hear from anybody. I've got a lot of material and resources to share. So yes, if everybody signs up to my website and emails me through that would be great.
Okay, well, I'll put the details in the description of this broadcast, and people can follow that. And so it's on your website. If I wanted to have a look at the book, the seven ways
women are sabotaging their daily success without realizing. ...
Okay. ... So if I go onto your website, I can download. That yes,
that's available for everybody. It's free, so I just wanted
so that's
to help
that's
everybody.
Great.
And then I've got my 7 frazzled to fabulous solutions that come every day for 7 days in the form of an email. So people can, you know, some people might find that enough, other people might want a bit more information, a bit more of a course. I've also got a private Facebook group where I'm going through the 7 things that women need to know about before they can make the changes, to be aware of, and lots of different activities and challenges coming up in that group as well, and hoping to do some workshops in the UK in June as well.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much, Deborah. It's been really good. It's been very informative, and I know that the people watching this will really appreciate what you've had to give them. And I will, like I said, I'll put the details of how to contact you in the description below the video on YouTube.
Okay. Thank you so much for asking me. I really appreciate it.
Oh no, it was great. No, I knew it was going to be good. Thank you. Okay. And so I hope you all enjoyed that video. If you did, then please do like it. And share it with your friends, because there must be loads of women out there who would benefit from watching and listening to what Deborah had to say. Leave comments below if you have anything to say. I'd be really interested to hear your comments. If you'd like to see more from Deborah, then let me know that as well. And if you haven't already, then please don't forget to subscribe to the New 50 TV here on YouTube. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.